Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 25 of the Break-Thru Active podcast. As always, I'm with Mitch. How are you?
G'day, mate. I'm doing well. Your home office is looking awfully clean.
It is clean. Yeah,
spotless.
It's one of the things I'm working on at the moment is my cleanliness around the home. I've never been.
Nice one, mate. Almost be as clean as the gym now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So today, last week, Mitch posted on Instagram a poll in regards to what you'd like us to talk about on a podcast. What were the options? Do you remember, Mitch? The 4 options?
It was one about the most challenging workouts we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
There was one about our highlights in business until this point. There was one about supplements, and there was the one that we're going to talk about today,
which is what motivates us with our training and our business. Now, we made a previous podcast in regards to motivation and discipline, and neither of us were fans of motivation because regardless of how we're feeling, regardless of how you're feeling, whether you're motivated or not, we both truly believe it's important you follow through with what you say you do. In saying that, it is much easier to remain disciplined if you are motivated, and I definitely have some anchors that motivate me to train. I'm wondering, Mitch, what are some of yours, or how do you stay motivated with your training?
Yeah, it's a bit of the reason why I put this one in. It's something that we talk about with our members a lot, talking about how often we should be training and how we do stay consistent. And we both probably sound a little bit like broken records when we're talking about consistency within training, and a lot of the time that just comes back to your discipline and your motivation, quote unquote, with being able to turn up week in, week out. And as we have spoke about recently, and even with the weekly email that we've sent out here, I believe that was today, speaking about it doesn't have to be every day, but it does need to be consistent. So I feel as though everyone is a little bit different when it comes to what keeps them motivated and what allows them to continue to be consistent. And that's where, I wanted to speak about that today in regards to me. And that's probably going to be different to what it is for you. So for myself, it's, I guess this may not be the same for you or for many other people, but I really just believe that I am just trying to complete the task in hand. And when talking about training, that is the workout. I think about, okay, I need to work out here, whether it be the morning, afternoon, night, whatever it is. And my motivation and my drive is just to get that done. And I am always thinking, what am I going to feel like at the end of this workout? I know that I'm going to feel great because I've felt great after the thousands of workouts I've done in my life. So my motivation comes back to completing the task, the satisfaction and the accomplishment I feel in completing something challenging. And that is really not only what gets me to train, but allows me to push hard throughout workouts when they start to suck, when they start to get difficult. Knowing that I'm going to feel great once I get done is something that really motivates me.
Well, I posted a video on Instagram today with Joe Rogan, and the other guy speaking was Jocko Willink. Have you heard of him?
Mm-hmm.
Motivational speaker.
He's like a real hardcore, like army guy, isn't it?
Like
him? Yeah.
A watered down version of David Goggins, who's even more hardcore. And Joe Rogan said sometimes, and we actually discussed this with Tony, and we disagree with each other, but I truly believe that sometimes you just need to embrace the suck. And I think too often, human beings by nature, we avoid difficult tasks and we always want to remain comfortable. Perfect example is getting out of bed in the middle of winter is uncomfortable when your bed is very, very comfortable. However, which task, sleeping in or working out, is going to make you grow as a person. And we grow through those uncomfortable periods. We started our podcast during the pandemic, an uncomfortable period. You've gone crazy on YouTube during the pandemic, in an uncomfortable period. And when we experience being uncomfortable, when we go through hard times, that's when we really improve. And through that is where you draw self-esteem from.
Yeah, I completely. Did you say that I disagreed with you, or did Tony disagree with you?
Disagreed. He said,
yeah, right. I was, yeah. No, because I 100% agree with you there. And I guess when it comes to working out for ourselves and obviously for our members and anyone listening who does train and exercise as well, while you're doing it, especially if it is a challenging workout, which most of them are, if you are pushing at a decent intensity, there are going to be points when you feel like stopping, and your mind is going to wander, and it's going to wander to, I wish this was done. I wish I was back in bed. I wish I was chilling out at home. I wish I was doing something more enjoyable. But you really, and I speak to members about this, I always say to them, think 15 minutes ahead. Think most workouts don't last too much longer than that. If you put your mind 15 minutes ahead and you think, how good am I going to feel in 15 minutes, knowing that I've done this thing that has sucked, and you have embraced the suck, as you said, and gotten through something that was challenging, gotten through something that you didn't feel like you would, it really builds a lot of character. You turn into someone who may shy away from something that is difficult, something that's challenging, and you become the type of person that loves it, that thrives off it, that becomes resilient. And I really feel like it does shape character for the better. And like you mentioned just there, when you are going through other parts of life and other challenging parts of life where it is difficult, obviously not physically difficult, but I think you can draw a lot from those experiences that you've had training, knowing you can get through something that's really difficult.
Well, a great example is Lindell. She's a member in her 50s. I'm going to say closer to 60s. Is that accurate? Am I going to get in trouble for that?
Maybe, but 50s.
Anyway, 55. And we were doing step downs the other day on a box with a kettlebell on her shoulder. And there's a satisfaction Lindell gets from her training, realizing that she can step up on one leg under load when the majority of people her age can't get off the floor. And at some point, she's had that decision whether to stay in bed or to train and embrace the suck and go through that challenging process. And she's just reaping all the rewards now. And I know for her, that continues to motivate, because she just wants to maintain her current level of fitness and strength as she ages, while her friends, unfortunately, fall apart around her.
Yeah, and that's something I can speak personally about as well. When I'm doing something that is challenging, that does suck, I sometimes will think,
You smug bastard.
Yeah, well, I think this is something that a lot of other people at my age can't do. Yeah. I truly think that. And I think, okay, well, I need to keep going here. I need to push through, because I know that this is challenging. This is difficult. Most people can't do it. And that helps me draw motivation from that. And same applies exactly to someone like Lindell. She's in her 50s, and most people her age, probably can't even squat up and down without being in all sorts of aches and pains.
They can't stand on one leg.
Yeah, let alone stepping up and down off something with a kettlebell on her shoulder. So I'd love to ask her personally, and I will next time I see her. But I imagine, like you said, she feels great about that. And it's not her thinking, "Hey, I'm better than you," like, how good am I? But knowing that most other people around her at her age and her circumstances aren't doing that, I think it does. It can definitely be something that can help you stay motivated and help you continue doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and Lindell is eccentrically loading her glute to strengthen that muscle to create more hip stability, and her friend literally can't get off the floor. And at some point, Lindell has found that motivation, and her motivation is just to age gracefully. And your motivation might be to maintain your current level of fitness, and when you're 45, look like a 30-year-old or a 25-year-old.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a moment, because I think, and you might disagree with me here, and tell me if you do, but a lot of the time when people are talking about, why you train and why you exercise, and we often talk about goals, and, whether it be weight loss, whether it be fitness improvement, whether it be to fit in this dress, or, a host of other reasons that why people do start to train. I don't know if that actually motivates people on a day-to-day basis. I don't think that when you're working out, or when you're thinking about working out, the thought of, okay, I want to be 15 kilos lighter and have 15% body fat, I don't know if that motivates you to go in and train. I feel as though that can always be your goal, but you just need to think about what you need to do today as part of your plan to get to that goal. I don't think thinking of that as an overall reason why you're going in each day is something that's helpful.
Well, I think it's good to think about your why, maybe once a day, once a week. And I know your why sounds cheesy and corny, but that's what it is.
It's true. Yeah, absolutely.
And the why, well, for me, leading up to my 30th birthday, I wanted to have a six-pack. I've never had a six-pack before in my life. And every minute of every day before every workout, I wasn't thinking about that six-pack. I was thinking about the small daily tasks that I had to do to make that happen. That was to be in a calorie deficit. That was to weight train. That was to get my step count. And then at times when I was struggling for motivation, or I was struggling, or I felt like I was going to go off the edge or lose my discipline, I would think about that. So that is an anchor if you're at the end of your tether. If it's Thursday night, you've had a long day with the kids, you don't want to set the alarm. However, every fiber of your being knows that you should do that. And I think they're the times when your goals are really important. But yeah, I agree. We're not thinking about it daily, or I'm not doing push-ups thinking, geez, I want a nice chest.
Yeah, I think it's of the utmost importance to have a goal and to have something that you're working towards, and then having a plan in place that's going to get you to where you want to be. But for in your case, you know, if it's a Wednesday night and you want to, you know, you're sick of eating what you're eating and you want to go get takeaway when you, let's say for this example, you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But are you thinking to yourself, okay, I can't do this because I really want that six pack? Or are you just thinking, I just need to get through this meal and then I'll be fine? Because for me, like in regards to working out, if I don't want to do it, my thought is just go out there and do it, get it done. You're going to feel great afterwards. And then once I get it done, I've avoided that, as opposed to thinking I need to do this workout because in 15 years time, I want to be in the same shape I am now. I don't feel like that has enough pull for me because it is a long-term goal. I look at what I need to do and I just think about doing that. And I know that if I do that, it is going to lead to where I want to be down the track.
Well, that's why alcoholics celebrate one day at a time.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too.
Never like Eddie Guerrero is one of his quotes. Like he's a WWE wrestler, sadly passed away, but the whole thing.
I'm glad we introduced Eddie Guerrero into this podcast.
I think we watched his documentary together, and it was
lie cheating. What was his thing?
Still, and it was like, am I going to stay sober forever? Absolutely not. But even me, an addict, I can do one day.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason that they do that for people who are drug addicts and who are alcoholics, because like Eddie is right. Like he can't every time he wants to have a drink, he doesn't think, well, I need to be sober forever. Like I'm doing it. And for him, obviously being sober is, you know, obviously better husband, better friend, better dad, like better career, all that sort of stuff. I don't know if at that point in time, all those things are motivating him. All he needs to do is just complete the task in hand, and that is not have alcohol for that period or whatever it is. And once he gets beyond that day, then he's won that battle. And then the next day is a new day. And then he approaches that again.
And Wednesday night when I'm hungry, I need to embrace the suck if I'm working towards something very specific. And so it's Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, exactly right. So I still do believe that everyone is a little bit different. And I think it would be different if it was a short-term goal. Like if for instance, someone has a wedding in 3 weeks' time and they're trying to really knuckle down for the next 3 weeks, then I think that could probably motivate people. But when you're looking at something longer term, which is more often than not what we are wanting people to do and what we're encouraging people to think about, I don't think having that larger goal in mind is going to be helpful to get what you need to get done today. I think you need to look at the task in hand, and that is completely separate to your larger goal, but just know that every single time you do that task over the course of the next 3, 6, 12, 24 months, 10 years, it is going to be just such a small step towards that.
So if your goal is to complete the task at hand, what is your big why? What do you want to achieve in the next 10 years with your health and fitness?
For me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would first and foremost want to stay injury-free. And I don't know if that's a great goal to have because it seems like it's negative. Like I don't want to get injured. And we spoke about, you know, that sort of thing with Tony. But I respectfully disagree with that, because I know how important it is to stay out of injury, because if I'm injured, I can't do anything. So first and foremost, I want to be able to stay out of injury so I can train consistently. And I would like to be fitter in 10 years than I am now. And I have metrics in place with how fast I can run and how fast I can do certain workouts. And I would love to be fitter then than I am now. I don't think I can be stronger in 10 years than I am now. That's just me, because if anything, I have slowly declined in strength over the last few years. And I think that's come at the cost of me doing a lot of other training, where strength was my focus a few years ago, and now I'm doing everything. But I truly believe I can be fitter in 10 years than I am now. And that is my goal. And I think everything else, if I focus on that, will take care of itself. I think the way that I look will take care of itself if I focus on that, and I am consistent with my training and I stay out of injury. And I think my strength will also, remain consistent too, because I'm going to be training for the next 10 years.
Okay.
How about for you?
Well, we discussed this yesterday, and my goal is to be the best version of 90 kilos I can possibly be. And what I mean by that is I don't believe I should weigh more than that due to the impact it would have on my joints. I'm currently 88, and I want to continue to lose body fat, increase muscle mass. And number one for me, like you, is to not only prevent injuries, but to heal the few injuries that I do have, namely with my left foot and my left hand. And if I look how I look now when I'm 40 years old, I think I've made drastic improvements, because as you age, every year that you get older, it definitely gets more challenging. And maintaining, I'm not saying I'm at a great level, but I'm at a pretty good level. If I can be at this pretty good level when I'm 40, at 40, that pretty good is an exceptional level.
Well, we spoke about that yesterday or the day before as well, where, we're 30, or 31. If you're in the same shape when you're 32 as you're 31, then that's a positive. You could be the exact same fitness, strength level, weight, body fat, everything when you're 32 as opposed to 31, and you're a year better off. And if you stay in the same shape when you're 33 as you were when you're 32, which is also the same as when you're 31, that's a huge positive as well. You continue to do that for 10 years, all of a sudden you're 41, you're in the same shape that you are now. And obviously you're striving to be even a little bit better than you are now. But I think maintenance isn't always a negative thing.
Yeah.
I think there are times when people start training that they are going to see some great results, the newbie gains that we speak of. But every year after that you are staying in the same shape, then that's a positive. That's a win. Because you need to look at that over the course of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and think, if I'm in the same shape in 10 years as I am now, like I've won this decade. Like what a 10-year period that must have been.
Yeah, well, in terms of people that are 30, people that are as fit, as strong, as lean, and as move as well as you, maybe one in 50,000, maybe one in 25,000.
Well, let's say that for example. Yeah.
So every 25,000, there's a Mitch in there. But if you fast forward to 40 years old, then it's one in 100,000. And
yeah.
50, yeah, and those odds just keep increasing. And that's what it is for me. I'm fearful of getting old. I'm fearful of not being able to move how I am now. I'm fearful of having to eat a lot less food because I can't train because my body can't handle it. I'm fearful of lots of things.
Yeah. And I think that, we're not being ageist or, talking about old people all of a sudden, but that's why when we see people, especially who are as old or older than us, who are in great shape, I have the utmost respect for them. Especially when we look at people in their 40s and their 50s and even into their 60s, and even Bob Moore up at Carrey when he's 70, that is astounding to be in that sort of shape at that age as we get older, because we know that the status quo for people as they get older is they fall out of shape. They have kids, typically their career gets more serious, life gets more stressful, their priorities change, their health and fitness will go out the window. and so will their fitness and health and their body composition. So when we see someone who is not only maintaining, but at times improving as they're getting older, I think that is absolutely remarkable. And that's really what people should aspire to be as good or fitter or stronger as they are in 3 years, in 5 years, in 1 year even. If anyone is in the same shape in a year as they are now and they have been training for a little while, then that's great.
Yeah, I agree. And my other big why is just, as cheesy as it sounds, I want to be in great shape for the members. Like, we also discussed this.
That's not cheesy. That's just.
We discussed this
I think that's
with Tony, and we had I like disagreements. I like someone challenging a topic in a conversation, but I just 100% wholeheartedly disagree. My opinion: if you're a personal trainer, you should be in great shape. And I'm not saying you have to have a six-pack year round. I'm not saying you have to squat 100 kilos like you, but members have to look at you and think, wow, like, he trains. Wow, he's healthy. He takes care of himself. Because if I'm preaching nutrition every single day and motivating someone through a workout 5 days a week, and I don't train, that is just, there's no integrity. There's no congruency. It's just, it's awful. And you see them too. They're everywhere, just overweight and out of shape personal trainers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many good ones there are, but there are people who get their certificates in training and they're overweight and out of shape. And I think that's just a personal standard that we both have as well. Like, I would feel like such a hypocrite if I was in there running a session, telling people, push through this workout. This is what you do on the bike. Like, on that rower, when it gets this many meters, you need to dig deep and keep pushing. On that run, you want to pace that run early. Like, it's all hypocrisy if I don't do it myself and I don't apply that to my own training. And it's the same with how people look. Like, if we're talking about nutrition and consistency with training and all of the above, if we're not doing that ourselves, what right do we have to be able to get on people to try and get them to do the same if we can't do it ourselves? And I don't know if Tony disagreed, like, that's a disagreement with Tony, because there was a big part of it where we spoke about that people don't really know it if they can't apply it themselves.
Yeah, there was two faults. But it was more to the point that we can't be health professionals if we're not healthy. I'm not going to visit a broke accountant.
No.
I'm not getting financial advice.
I wouldn't trust my dentist if they had teeth missing.
Yeah, and what's that cliche saying? It's like never trust a skinny chef.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
because they're saying that they don't eat their own food, and their own food's delicious.
Yeah, and for me, I want our members, as we get older and we get guys that join our program in their late 20s, early 30s, I want to be an example for them. Hey, like, the dad bod isn't funny. Like, there's nothing humorous about it. And if you implement these steps, if you're consistent with your training and attend 3 times a week, you don't have to be like that. You can be like Lindell, who's currently in her 50s and moves like she's in her early 40s, late 30s.
And I mean, I feel like all our members at the moment do, but I just want our members to be able to trust us with their health and fitness.
Yeah.
I want them to, and like you said, it doesn't have to be someone who never eats fast food or has a 6-pack or can run, 3.5 minute kilometers or whatever it is. But we need to be able to be fit and healthy and be able to speak from experience. And we need to be a benchmark for them where they think, okay, I am entrusting these guys and girls, Brody, with my health and fitness. They are healthy and fit and strong, and what they are prescribing for me to do is what they do as well.
Yeah,
and I think that's important, especially for people we meet from here on. Like I said, I think the people we have now in our network know that, but we are going to be meeting, hundreds of people over the next 10, 20 years. And I think for every new person we do meet, they need to think the same.
Yeah, and like a great example is Dave Hughes beat us both on the Rafties workout. The machine, the Black Mamba. We don't have to be the fittest or the strongest or the leanest, but we have to consistently show over a long period of time that we do the right things. And our advice that we give to you guys, we follow ourselves. Of course we fall off. Of course we eat junk food. Of course we have bad weeks. But that's 1 in 52 weeks.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't have to be these superhumans and super freaks that aren't relatable at all. So I think it's definitely a healthy mix of both, and our members know that.
If someone wants to improve their running, you ran 5 kilometers in 20 minutes, which is exceptionally fast. They should ask you.
Yeah, as opposed to someone who hasn't run in years, trying to give them advice on how to.
Don't ask me. Ask you.
Well, yeah, I wasn't even thinking that, but yeah, there's an element to that there where you couldn't probably help them that much, and that's fine.
But if someone wants to lose 5 kilos and have a flexible lifestyle, ask me.
Yeah.
And the more that we demonstrate our expertise through the application and living what we preach, I think it's just better for us and better for our members.
Agreed. So for any members who are listening, who maybe are thinking about, their own training and motivation and goal setting, what would be your advice to someone who maybe is a little bit lost with not so much that they're inconsistent, but maybe they don't have a specific goal in place, and maybe they are consistent with their training, maybe they're not. What would be your advice for someone who's listening who maybe wants to take away something from this?
To start their motivation, you need, how often do we ever spend time alone? You literally, it sounds cheesy once again, you need to spend half an hour on your own, and you need to work out what do you actually want to achieve. And the same thing, like I guess we use money for an example. You don't go to work just to work. You go to work to earn money. As in, you're not working to work. And the training and nutrition, that is to improve your health. So what aspects of your health are you trying to improve? It could be fitness, could be strength, could be mobility, could be stability, it could be injury prevention, it could be 10 different things. But what are you looking to improve? And how important is that to you?
Yeah, I think people can sometimes need to take a step back and think about, why they are training. But like we said before, I don't think that's something that people should be having to fall on all the time. Because if every day your alarm goes off and you're not wanting to get out of bed, and you're having to think, okay, like I want to have that. Let's say the goal is to lose 10 kilos of body fat, and their goal, they're thinking, okay, I want to lose. They're waking up, they're lying in bed, they're deliberating whether they should go back to sleep or not, and they're thinking, okay, I want to lose 10 kilos of body fat because I'm going to feel great, I'm going to feel confident, I'm going to feel accomplished, all those things that come with it. That might work a couple of mornings, but if you're having to do that every single morning, there's a problem with your discipline.
Well, it just goes back to habits. Like, you brush your teeth because otherwise they fall out. You should exercise, otherwise your body is going to fall apart.
Yeah, and there's some nights where I'm falling asleep on the lounge and I haven't brushed my teeth. It's true. Yeah, and I say to myself, I need to go brush my teeth, otherwise my mouth's going to feel disgusting in the morning.
Yeah.
And that makes me go and do it. And I know, okay, and then if I don't do it again, but that doesn't, if that's once a blue moon that I think that. Other than that, I just get up and do it because I know I have to.
Yeah.
And obviously it's different, but I don't think you can rely on thinking about those macro goals very often. If you're having to do that, then there's a problem with your discipline. And I think you need to address that a little more. You need to address the habit that you have more so than addressing your macroeconomic goal.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to business. Now, I think I've told this story many, many times, but there is one thing that motivates me in business, and you've experienced it. So my first job out of high school.
You more so than me.
Yeah, but it was still to this day, it's my biggest fear in life. It truly is. So my first job out of high school, I worked for Centrelink, and I'm not saying it's a bad job. It was a good job. It paid really well. I finished at 3:20, and at 3:19, I was out the door. Good super. It provides a lot of things that a lot of people want. It just wasn't for me. And the idea of working in that same position for Centrelink is just absolutely terrifying. And this is going to sound ridiculous, but every time I go visit my parents on the coast, I drive past the building where I used to work. I think you've joined me a few times. And I
Just sat out the front, have a
sit
look.
out the front and I look at it. And it's just a great reminder of just how much I love what we do. And this was taken away and I ended up back there. I could never live with myself. And it's the same, it's the same with exercise.
Sounds like you got some PTSD there, mate.
It just wasn't for me.
So you feel as though that, I mean, obviously when we got started, but the thought that the pain of going back to that is what made you work harder, or it does make you work hard?
I don't care. No matter how I feel, no matter what's going on in my life, good, bad, I just do what's required because I don't want to go back there.
Yeah. And if we apply that same thought to what we were just saying about the task, if you are, you're at home and you're doing some of your accounting work, or you're writing a big post for something or other, and it's difficult for you, you're struggling to come up with the words to put into the post, and sometimes you may think, okay, I just need to get this done because I don't want to be back at Centrelink. But I think more often than not, you're thinking, I'm just going to get this done and then I'm going to feel good. Would that be a safe assumption?
Yeah, well, it's just everything that we do that helps moves us forward, makes me feel good. And it's one step further away from going back there. Because there's people that I still work with, and they're lovely people. I got lots of them on my Facebook. I still talk to a few of them. I left February 9, 2012, and they're still there. And they're coming up on 10 years. 10 years. And I couldn't do 10
Due for some long service leave soon.
Yeah, I couldn't do 10. I'll do my long service leave 2009. I don't care. I don't want it.
Yeah, it's interesting because I imagine that there are people who are motivated within their training if they are someone who has lost a lot of weight, or they have been in times been very unhealthy and maybe had health scares and things, and then since they've started training and eating well, that they don't have those anymore. I think pain can be a very, very strong motivator. If you have been at that point of immense pain where you have been, like, let's call it severely overweight and or in bad health, that can definitely help motivate you to train if you are lacking in motivation, or having a bit of a tough time of the thought of, okay, I don't want to end up back where I was, so I need to get my ass out of bed and go and train.
Well, it's like Tony Robbins. We discussed him also last episode. One of the people I look up to the most in the world, and it's like how fast can you run? And the question was, well, okay, are you running as fast as you can? Or if there was a hungry lion chasing you, how fast can you really run? Are you more likely to save $1,000 or stop someone from taking $1,000 out of your pocket? What's going to help you take action quicker?
Yeah, and the thought of having something being taken away from you that you now have, it's powerful. And again, I think that can be useful at times where if you're struggling for some motivation and you think, okay, I just, I don't want to be back. I don't want to be 40 kilos heavier. I don't want to have to go to the doctor and have heart problems and everything. I better go and train. But if you're having to rely on that time in and time out, then I think it's an issue of discipline as opposed to having a strong enough goal. But I think in the same breath, same as it is with business, it's very important to know why it is you're doing. And for me, I really do love what I do and what we do. There has never been a morning that I wake up, or an afternoon when I'm running sessions, or at any point where I'm not looking forward to what I'm doing. And, it's always a good reminder when we're talking to the members, when we're cooling down or before a session, and I'll say, how was your day? And they'll say, oh, work was crap, or, I'm going to work tonight and they're, not looking forward to it. Or in the other end, they had the day off and they're excited. I've got the day off today. And then, what are you going to do? And they're listing, or you can just see the excitement because they've got time off work. And that's never been, as long as we've been doing this, and this is completely true, that's never been a thing for me. Every single time I run a session, unless I'm feeling under the weather or there's something else external happening in my life, I enjoy what we do. And the thought of going into work, similar to you, the thought of going into work and not enjoying my time there, I can't fathom that. I would, like you, I wouldn't be able to go to a job that I don't enjoy.
I'm a bad human being. I'd be miserable. I'd be miserable. And that perspective of being in a job that I hated, to being in a job that I love is enough to continue to push me forward. And that's why I love it so much, because I've seen the other side. And when I was working there, I knew within about 6 weeks how much I hated it. Like, I hated it. And I didn't tell anyone. If someone asks, how's your job? Oh, it's all right. It's okay. Good money. Like, good holiday. Works work. I remember it was one night at Anytime Fitness Diggers, which is the entrance on Central Coast. You asked me how work was. I said, it's shit. I hate it. And then once you say it out loud and you express it, you can't take it back. And then from that moment, I started looking for other jobs. I took a job in Chatswood, which was like 2 hours commuting, like way less money, more responsibility. My parents thought I was crazy, and it was the happiest I was. And then I've just gotten happier.
And we are extremely fortunate and very grateful to be the position that we're in at 30 years old and be able to live this life the last 5 years. And for me, it's not something that I really like talking about that much, because unfortunately, most people don't have that same feeling towards work. So I'm never going to sit there among, a group of 10, and if they're all not looking forward to going to work and me, singing how great it is that, I get to do this every day, because I feel bad for them. I feel sorry for them, because work is such a huge part of life. Whether you like it or not, it's what your week revolves around, really. And for people to not be thoroughly enjoying it, and I know we're lucky. We're call it lucky, call it fortunate, but obviously we've paved the way to get to where we are now. Like, it's not that we've just fallen into this and we've been given this business or anything like that. Like, we've built it from the ground up. So we're not lucky in that sense, but I am very grateful that we're in a position now where we do enjoy our work. And for anyone, and this doesn't happen all too often, but there are times when young people, more so, will reach out to us, and we'll be talking to them about work, and we're honest with them. We say, well, you're in the position where if you don't like it, change what you're doing.
Well, a great example is just doing your own thing scary. Like, the people that I still talk to at Centrelink, they have mentioned to me, but when the pandemic struck and our gyms were closed, they were probably thinking, probably should have stayed at Centrelink. Like, or just that fear of like I have way more stress in my life now than I did back then. But it's a good stress. Like, it's a challenging stress. It's just not an emotional drain on my time. Like, it's problem solving.
Yeah, and part of me with business as well is I love being able to improve our business. That is a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly aim for us to make our business better, and that's not financially better. That's a stronger business to form stronger relationships with our members, to improve the quality of the business, to improve the sessions, to improve the facility, to make it better year after year, and hopefully decade after decade. And having that challenge, and obviously that breaks down to daily challenges and posting regularly on Facebook and making sure we write good programs every day and being personable in its sessions. And that challenge for me is something that keeps me going. There's never a day where you can just turn up, set yourself on autopilot, and then just go. Whereas back when you're at Centrelink and a lot of other jobs, you can just completely revert to autopilot and that day will just be done. But at least for me, speaking personally, there are no days like that. Every day is very different. You've always got a different group of people coming in. It's always a different workout. There's always different elements of the day that keeps things interesting. And that challenge is what motivates me to continue to make the product and the service better and to make the business better.
Yeah, and I think for me, especially me and my personality, the monotony of a job just wasn't for me. Because some days we go to Warners Bay and pick up equipment. Other days we're finding these jumpers. Other days we're talking to Will from Prima Bolics. And then We're cleaning the gym, we're running sessions, we're doing the accounting, we're doing Facebook, Instagram, like every single little thing we've had to figure out on our own. And there's been 100 problems that we've solved.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think not like you want monotony is definitely like got a negative connotation towards it. I think people need some stability. Like you don't want to be doing something completely different every day, but having the variety of people and having the variety of even the venues. Obviously, we've got 2 gyms now.
It was monotony with no chance of growth.
Yeah. No, yeah, I understand what you meant. So I think having that variety is important, but I look forward to going to work every day, and that is true. And I think even more so than ever when we were closed earlier on in the year, really put that in perspective. I'll never take that for granted again. I think a lot of people are in that school of thought now where they're grateful to have a job. And even more so than that, we're grateful to be able to have our own business, to be able to work within that business, to be able to have, people that we enjoy connecting with coming in every day. And I think it's always good to keep that as a reminder, for those times when that alarm goes off early or, the late night finishes or, whatever it may be. It's all just in perspective when you think about how fortunate we are and what a great position we're in to be able to work with people that we enjoy working with.
Yeah, and if you're a young person and you're listening to this and you have the opportunity to do something that you love or follow your passion, do it now before you have the car loan, the mortgage, the kids, the wife, and all those responsibilities that come with it. Because when we started when we were 25, it was just me and you living in a house together. We had very little bills and we could dedicate absolutely everything to the business. And if we try to start it in 5 years' time, we had 3 kids between us, it would be a lot more difficult and we probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and not to say that people can't change their profession or their job or their lifestyle when they have those things. Obviously, there's just a new host of challenges that come with it. But I think, and this is just my opinion, I think over anything else, happiness is the most important thing. Because you can be earning really good money and, you can be working in, the profession that you did at university, and you might be where society tells you should be working. But if you're not happy, it's really something it's all for nothing, because you are craving time off from work. You can't wait till your next break, knowing that when you have that break, you get back to work and that's still all going to be there. And that's just a journey I don't want to be on. I love knowing that every week is different, and I enjoy every week that comes at us. I'm never dreading Mondays. I'm not always thoroughly looking forward to the weekend. Yeah. I enjoy not having to get up at 4:30 a few days, Saturday and Sunday, but that's about it. The work itself is great, and again, we're very fortunate.
Well, it's just like I can't even imagine my life with a job. I don't. Obviously, I just do it because I get used to it. But it's just the idea of not having control of what we do and I guess the direction of our business, and just coasting through is really, really scary. And that is probably the number one thing that motivates me.
Yeah, and I think for most people that there is obviously an in-between. Like you're talking from that job that you hated, where you were literally working in a call center, and now owning your own business. There's a huge area in between that. There's people who work jobs and they love it. They work behind the bar, or they work in a cafe, or they work in a hospital, and they love going into work every day. And that's great. You don't have to be a business owner. You don't have to be running your own show. And if you don't get along with your boss all the time, that doesn't mean you hate your work. But I think just enjoying what you're doing, and everyone's different, is really important.
Yeah, I guess that's the message. It doesn't matter what you do, just be happy. And it's a great quote. It's a Jim Carrey quote. It's like, the quote is like, my father could have been a great comedian, but he chose a safe life as an accountant. And when he was 10 years old, he got fired from that safe job as an accountant. If I learned one lesson from my dad, it was that you can fail at doing something that you hate. It's a great quote.
You're full of the quotes, mate.
Very, very, very inspiring. But once again, like you can literally fail at doing something that you don't want to do. When you might as well fail at doing something that you like, or at least attempt.
Yeah, and I think for people like Jim Carrey, like obviously he's an extremely successful, actor, comedian, all of the above. And for people like us who run their own business and enjoy their work and have a good lifestyle, we want other people to be able to do the same. The people that I truly care about, and there are a lot of people out there who I do care about. I wish that they were able to live a lifestyle that they really enjoy, and that doesn't necessarily have to be a gym owner. Like obviously not, but it really pains me when I speak to people I care about and they hate work.
Yeah,
Because I know it's the same as someone who talks to you and they're in a bad relationship. Like your relationship is such a huge part of your life, as is work. If someone was in a bad relationship, people, their friends and family would be telling them to get out of it. But obviously, when it comes to work, if someone hates their job, people aren't telling them to get out. And obviously, there's bills and things associated with it. I understand that, but at the end of the day, it is such a huge part of life, and you really need to take a look at things and be doing something that you love.
All right, let's wrap it up, mate. So in terms of motivation, commit to the daily task. Be clear on the vision. Another quote, actually, Jeff Bezos, Amazon. Be clear on the vision, flexible on the details. So that might mean for someone you want to lose 10 kilos in 12 months. Just be clear on the vision, but flexible in the details, because there are going to be things along that journey, along that road that pop up. And if you are flexible, you will navigate them, go back to complete that daily task, and you will get there.
Yeah, and I think as well, our comparison to Alcoholics Anonymous and people who are overcoming addiction, taking it one day at a time is just so important, because you can have the absolute worst day ever. I mean, for someone planning to train this morning, they slept in, they ate crap all day, they didn't do anything that was contributing to their health. If that is just limited to one day and then tomorrow is good, there's no problem in the long term. Obviously, you feel like crap and everything, but if you just do that one day and then the next day you're back on the wagon, there's no problem in the long run. So I think looking at it in the smaller scale, looking at it a day at a time, not even a week at a time, because so many people will miss a day of training or eat crap one day, and then all of a sudden that week's a blowout, and then that turns into a month, and before you know it, you haven't trained all year. So I think looking at a day at a time is definitely a good way to keep things manageable.
Okay. And in business, in life, just try your best to be as happy as possible and do what you want to do.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Have a good day. Bye.